Have you ever noticed how people talk about money? They always seem to have a magic number. For some people, it's $5,000. For others, it's $10,000. And for many people, it's $20,000. They tell themselves, if I could just make $20,000, everything would finally be different. Life would be easier. Stress would disappear. And money would stop being a problem. But here's the strange part. For many people, everything changes even more after they reach $20,000. And not always in a good way. Let me explain. Imagine a guy named Ryan. Ryan spends years trying to earn more money. He works extra hours, takes on side jobs, saves whenever he can. And every day he thinks about the same goal: getting to $20,000. Because in his mind, that number represents freedom. Finally, after months of hard work, he gets there. His account balance reaches $20,000. At first, the feeling is incredible. He checks his account multiple times a day. He feels successful, confident, like he's finally winning. But something unexpected happens. A few weeks later, that excitement starts fading. The $20,000 no longer feels special. It simply becomes normal. This is one of the most important lessons about money. Humans are extremely good at adapting. Think about the last thing you desperately wanted. Maybe it was a new phone, a better apartment, a new laptop. Remember how exciting it felt before you got it? Now think about how often you think about it today. Probably not much. Because your brain quickly turns extraordinary things into ordinary things. And money works exactly the same way. The moment Ryan reached $20,000, his brain created a new target. Now he wanted $50,000. Then maybe $100,000. Then even more. The finish line kept moving. And that's where many people get trapped. They spend their entire lives chasing numbers, believing happiness is waiting at the next milestone. But every milestone eventually becomes normal. It's like running toward the horizon. No matter how far you go, it keeps moving. Now here's where things become even more interesting. When Ryan had very little money, he thought carefully before spending. Every purchase mattered. Every dollar had a job. But after reaching $20,000, his behavior started changing. Not dramatically. Just little things. A more expensive meal. A slightly nicer phone. A few extra subscriptions. More online shopping. Nothing seemed dangerous by itself. But together, they created a powerful effect. His lifestyle started expanding. Psychologists call this lifestyle inflation. But the idea is simple. The more money people earn, the more they often spend. Instead of using higher income to build freedom, they use it to upgrade their lifestyle. And eventually, they're back in the same position they started. Making more money, but feeling no richer. Think of a bucket with a hole in the bottom. Pouring more water into the bucket helps. But if the hole keeps getting bigger, the bucket never fills up. That's exactly how many people treat money. They focus entirely on earning more, but ignore the habits that determine whether wealth actually grows. And that's the secret most people miss. Money alone doesn't create wealth. Behavior creates wealth. Two people can both reach $20,000. One spends most of it trying to look successful. The other uses it to build assets. The first person gets temporary excitement. The second person creates future freedom. The difference isn't intelligence. The difference is behavior. Because money is like a magnifying glass. It doesn't change who you are. It reveals who you are. If you have good financial habits, more money helps those habits grow. If you have poor habits, more money often makes those habits bigger too. That's why some people become wealthier every year. And others keep feeling stuck no matter how much they earn. The real transformation isn't reaching $20,000. The real transformation is learning how to think differently after you reach it. Instead of asking, "How can I spend this money?" ask, "How can this money work for me?" Instead of chasing status, focus on ownership. Instead of trying to look rich, focus on becoming financially secure. Because true wealth isn't about what people see. It's about what they don't see: the savings account, the investments, the assets quietly growing in the background, the freedom to make choices without constantly worrying about money. And that's what Ryan eventually realized. The $20,000 wasn't the destination. It was simply the beginning. A test. A chance to decide whether he would build a bigger lifestyle or build a stronger future. And that decision changed everything, because wealth isn't built when money arrives. Wealth is built by the choices that follow. And once you understand that, you'll stop seeing money as the finish line. You'll start seeing it as a tool. A tool that can create opportunities. A tool that can create security. And eventually, a tool that can create freedom. And that's when everything truly changes.